Stampin' friends, it's Ayana Johnston here with another check this out video tutorial to show you. Today I want to show you how I made these thanks a bunch thank you cards. For one of the cards I used the beautiful cup and kettles framelits for this one, and for this card I went ahead and used the flower shop stamp set as well as the Papillion potpourri stamp set with the pansy punch. For today's video I'm going to go ahead and show you how I made this teacup card. They're very similar. The only difference are the two focal points. So let's get started making this card. To make this card, you're going to need two stamp sets. You're going to need the Grateful Bunch stamp set, and we're going to be using this trio right here, but the two smaller flowers of this trio. Then you're going to need another thank you stamp set. This one's retiring. I love it. So if you haven't had a chance to get it, please do so. We're going to use this thanks right down below here, and then we're also going to use the so much right above here. We're going to be using the lots of labels framelits. We're going to be using the second and the third largest one. And then we're also going to need the teacup right here, as well as this beautiful heart from the cups and kettles framelits. These are retiring and they come as a bundle with the wonderful a nice cuppa stamp set, so it's a great one to get if you don't have that as well. I've been using it all the time. So let's get started with the card stock that we'll need. We're going to need a sheet of Whisper White, and you're going to want to cut this at 3.5 by 4 3/4 inches. We're going to need a piece of the Designer Series Cherry on Top paper, and this you're going to want to cut at 3 15/16 by 5 3/16. We're also going to need another size of this paper in mint macaron. This again, it's 3 by 15/16 by 5 3/16. Okay, you'll see this at the bottom of the screen just to help you too with that measurement. Then you're going to need 2 pieces of Island Indigo. How beautiful. You're going to cut this piece at 5.5 by 8.5 and score it at 4 1/4. Then this next sheet, you're going to want to cut this at 3 1/4 by 5.5. Then you're going to need last is a piece of Perfect Plum, and you're going to cut this at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. You're going to need some scrap pieces of paper, however, and some scrap pieces of paper that you're going to need. You're going to need a scrap piece of Whisper White, and then a scrap piece of the Perfect Plum, and also a scrap piece of the mint macaron. You don't need much. These are large scrap pieces of paper. So first what I want to do is I want to cut out the frame that you see on the front of the card. So we're going to take the 2 pieces of paper that are the exact same size, and we're going to take the smallest of the 2 framelits that we had. We're going to center this, and then we're going to run this through the big shot. Next, I also want to show you what we're going to be running through the big shot. We're going to need 1 teacup, and we're going to want to run this through the big shot. Then you're also going to need a scrap piece of Island Indigo, which I forgot to mention, and you're going to want to cut out a heart of the scrap piece of Island Indigo, and then you're going to want to cut out a heart in the mint macaron. And once we get that all done, we'll bring it right back and put all the pieces together. Okay, so now I have my pieces almost all cut together. A few last things I need to do is I've got to cut out my frame, which I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick how I cut the frame out. I went ahead and I took my piece of Island Indigo, and then I took the largest piece and put it in the middle, and then I take my next smaller piece and put it straight in the middle, and then what I want to do is run this right through my big shot. Then I also want to take my Whisper White cardstock, and I want to use the softly folding embossing folder, and I want to go ahead and run this right through the big shot. So I will go do that, and then we'll have all of our pieces all ready to go. Okay, now I have my frame, and I have my softly falling snow on there, so to speak. Next, I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half. Okay, now you're going to see me adhere some pieces together. So first I'm going to go ahead and adhere my heart to my teacup. If you can see how I kept this heart together, I just want the middle part of that heart. So what I do is I take out the heart that needs to be punched out, just really gently. And then I snip off this little bit of the heart. And then I'm going to use some two-way glue, which I love, which is also retiring. But we also have the fine tip glue pen as well. And I'm going to adhere that to the teacup. Next, I'm going to adhere my pieces on together. Here I want to take my half and put it on top of the mint macaron, and I want to adhere that. Then I want to adhere my frame to there, as well as my softly fallen embossed piece of paper. And then I'm going to actually take this and adhere this to my purple and then my card base. Next, I'm going to adhere my teacup with some Stampin' Dimensionals, however many you want. Actually, I should put one or two more. I usually put a couple. And then next I need to take some scrap piece of white paper to create my beautiful bunch flowers. So I'm going to need the coordinating punch, and then I'm going to need some ink. I just used Perfect Plum for this one. Next, I took Pool Party, and I used my Stampin' Right marker, and I color in the two smaller ones. Okay, now I'm going to punch these out with a beautiful bunch, flower punch. And then I'm going to take some two-way glue, and I'm going to put the flowers on top of each other. And I'm going to adhere them with some Stampin' Dimensionals on my card. Next, I'm going to take a strip of the Pool Party ribbon, and I'm going to cut a nice bow. I'm going to adhere this with some glue dots, and then I'm going to add some bling and Wink a Stellar onto my flower. Last, I'm going to take my perfect plum and I'm going to take my thanks. I'm going to stamp the top and the bottom with thanks so much. And there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get the supply list for this card on my blog at www.checkthisout.stampinup.net. Happy stampin'!